Good morning. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Oops, in the wrong window. How are you this morning? Make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. Where are we here? All right. And let me pull this up on my phone. Mm-mm-mm. Why is it not showing up? Okay, there we are. Why is it not showing up? All right, perfect. Whoops. All right. We are situated now. So as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. Um, I am super excited this morning. We are having some beautiful weather now. And, you know, I was complaining a little bit about having to work on the water in my house, right? Until I saw some of the devastation that some people around me are dealing with. Oh my gosh, what I'm dealing with seems so tiny that it was like, why in the world would I even complain about that, right? Because there are some people that are definitely dealing with a hell of a lot more than I am. And so it's one of those things this morning of sharing some gratitude. I am so grateful that I had such a small thing that transpired within my home with all this weather. And I'm grateful that I have power, that I have water, that I have the gas, and that my car is okay, my home is okay. There's so many things to be grateful for, and I'm not negating the things that other people are going through. I am have so much empathy for what they're dealing with, and so I'm just wanting to say that I recognize that what I am dealing with is nothing in comparison. So I just had to say that this morning. Um, all right. So remember, as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. All right. And I am going to go ahead and get started because I've got some things to do, and as soon as I get finished here, and so I'm not going to delay. And I know there are a lot of people that pop in usually right after church, so I might reevaluate what time I'm showing up on Sundays to maybe accommodate those people a little bit better. We shall see. Maybe we'll change it. Maybe we won't. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into the affirmation. Okay, let me pop it over here. All right, our affirmation for today is I embrace change with courage and optimism because each new experience shapes me into a stronger, wiser version of myself. Now, the thing is that we talk about this a lot. The only constant in life is change. Things are constantly changing, and we're either creating things that we want or creating things that we don't want. And and sometimes there's stuff in between where we're just like, it doesn't matter. But wouldn't it be amazing to embrace the change and create from a powerful place within you? And some of that comes from knowing what you want, right? We've talked about this a lot too, that you, in order to go to a restaurant and get the meal you want, you have to look at the menu and you have to tell the waiter, this is the one I want. Because otherwise, if you just say, bring me something, then you'll get something, but it may be something you don't even like, something you're allergic to. It could be a plethora of things that you're not interested in at all. And the same thing that happens in our life. And the contrast, the things that happen around us and for us that sometimes show up as obstacles, those obstacles most of the time have an ability to actually get you clearer on what you do want, right? And so when something happens and you say, I don't want that anymore, then that's your clear indicator that you've been energetically entertaining that idea. And so it keeps showing up. And so as soon as you recognize that, "Oof, I'm not really happy with that thing showing up in my life over and over and over again." And we've all done it at some point, right? I know I have. And so it's like, let's create on purpose. So we embrace our change because we know it's coming, it's always happening. But if we embrace it with courage and optimism, knowing that each experience can change us and shape us into being stronger, wiser version of ourselves. I mean, doesn't that feel good to know that if you're anything that's going on, that's the purpose? But that's not all that happens, right? We not only recognize that there's a purpose behind it, but what's the lesson we learn? What is it that we take from it to be able to activate the things that we do want, right? And so, like I said, the one constant in life is change. It's happening all the time. We see it in nature, there's all the time. It's like the weather's changing, so the leaves change, all of these things that happen. There's constant change. And the only way that you're not, well, there's not a way that you're not changing. You just might not be noticing it. Because if you go in nature, you watch animals, any of that stuff, it's always changing. We're always getting older. We're older right now than we were when we first got on this Zoom. It's not even Zoom, it's on this live, okay? So just think about it. If it's always changing, everything's changing. Our cells are changing, our body's changing, our mind's changing. At least, if we're working with it, it should, right? It's changing to some degree. The problem here lies that a lot of people are changing by default. So they're using old patterns, old things that have happened in their past to direct what they're doing now. And that is changing by default. That's changing from the past, and we don't want to do that. And, whatever's showing up in your life today, the things that you've been doing is what's created that. So now we're choosing to embrace the change that's inevitable, right? With courage and optimism. And when we do that and we know what we want and we think about things in a way of what we want, and we have emotions that are bringing it to us. Because the thing that as I've worked with clients over the years, the thing that is interesting is that I can ask someone, what do you want? And they'll give me a litany of things that they don't want. And whether that's in relationships or, because I did have this one girl that was, when I asked her what she was looking for in a relationship, she said, well, I want somebody that's not a drunk. I want someone that's not unfaithful. And she started going through all these things about what she didn't want in these relationships. And it seemed like every relationship that she had was exactly what she was saying she didn't want, right? So she was getting really clear on the fact that she didn't want those things. However, the thing that's really important is, good morning, Lynn, good morning, is to look at what you do want and talk about what you do want, right? So when I was working with her, I said, okay, so if you're wanting to make sure you have a relationship with someone who is honest, is not deceptive, then you want someone that's honest. If you want someone who's not a drunk, then you want someone who is alcohol free, or however you put it, right? So, and if you want someone that's if you that is not unfaithful, then you want someone who is faithful. So it's just changing those words a little bit so that you are embracing the change on purpose. And so when we're looking at the things that have happened in our life, the things that are going on, and we're connecting with, "Whew, that didn't go well, and we want to do something different," then it's looking at it from the lens of, what's the opposite? What is it that I really want, not what I don't want? And so, in order to create change on purpose, we have to know, we have to discern, what is it that we do want? Just like I said, when you go to the restaurant and you order off the menu, you pick one thing, but you don't expect to get something else. Or you don't just leave it up to the server to just know what you want. You have to tell them, right? And it's the same thing in life. We have to know what it is that we're looking for. And sometimes that takes a lot of inner reflection, right? Most of the time it takes that. And so I'm inviting you today to think about this affirmation. I embrace change with courage and optimism, knowing that each new experience shapes me into a stronger, wiser version of myself. I embrace change. That's enough right there. I embrace change, because a lot of times people are fearful of change. Have you ever heard this phrase? And I used to hear this a lot when I was when I was a kid. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. Have you ever heard that phrase, Lynn? And to me, that implies, it don't matter how bad it is right now, don't make a change because it could be worse, right? Now, is that a major limiting belief or what? But I heard it all the time. And I've said it over and over and over again. And then my other thing that I used to hear a lot is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so to me, that means don't be looking to do something better. Now, that doesn't sound very good either, does it? So, putting those limiting beliefs aside, today, use this affirmation. I embrace change with courage and optimism. That's all you really have to put down, right? But know that each new experience shapes you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Whoops, let me see if I can share this journal prompt. Okay, I've got to redo it. Hold on. Let's see if that does it. Heck no, I'm going to hold on a second. Let me copy and paste this so I can get it to show up. So people that are on YouTube are going to think, what the heck? Let me delete some of these that I put up here. Delete comment. Delete comment. All right, just one more. Okay. So, to our journal prompt. What personal growth have you experienced from past challenges, and how do these lessons empower you in future endeavors? Now, today, spend some time, really reflect on this and give it some thought, give it some time to really tap into your subconscious mind, your higher conscious, your God voice, and just write out whatever shows up. So, what personal growth have you experienced from past challenges? And how do these lessons empower you in future endeavors? And then I want you to reflect on specific skills or qualities that you'd like to develop further for this next phase of your life. Reflect on specific skills or qualities you'd like to develop further. Because what is it that when things happen, even if it's not, we feel like it's not a positive thing that's happened, it's all to guide us, right? And so every invention that has ever happened had to do with somebody needing to fix something or change something, right? And so I'm not saying that you're going to invent something, but all the amazing things that we have to utilize, cups, right? As simple as that sounds, our cell phone, our computer, everything that was invented was because there was an obstacle that someone wanted to change. It was like, I don't know why. I put my stuff in my hands and I'm drinking it, but half of it pours out. What do I need to do? And then that's how they came up with just a little simple type of thing to put their liquid in to drink, right? And so it was an adversity, a thing that was causing them an issue that had the person create a way to drink. And now we have these cups. And one of the ones that is always amazing to me is when my son was young, there were well, I don't remember. Anyway, there was times that I wanted to figure out how to have him in the grocery cart without constantly having to make sure my hand was on him, that he wouldn't come out of the cart. Well, then somebody created or had this idea for the seat belts in the carts for the little kids, right? And and think about car seats. I remember when my brother was really little, the car seat in the car, well, it was really basically just a way for him to be high enough to see out, and it just hooked on the seat of the car. It didn't have belts and buckles, and wasn't tethered to the car. But over the years of devastating things happening, people decided, well, for safety reasons, we need to do this differently. And so it's when things happen, what do we get out of it? How do we make something good come out of whatever happens in our lives, right? And so that's where this comes in. You've had an experience, you've had a past challenge. It's a given. Everybody has, right? But can you grow from that challenge? Can you find a way to see that challenge and pick out a piece of growth from it? And then how can you have those lessons empowering you in your future things, the future things that show up for you? And for one thing, when we get to this place where really can manifest more things for us because we know what we want when we know what we don't want. And we can start focusing on the having of the thing we want and not focusing on the absence of it, or not focusing on all the negative things that we've decided we don't want, right? We can just kind of set them to the side and start growing and becoming this this self that is empowered, that has courage and optimism. Become the wiser version of yourself. That's what I hope for you. And that's what I hope for me, because like I've said many, many times, I am not perfect at this by any means. I still will have a moment that I will drop into that place of, oh, I didn't want that. But very quickly, I pivot. Okay, I didn't want that. What do I want? And I start focusing on what I do want. So I give you that gift as well. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. Let me look and see if there's any. So, how can we relax into this personal growth and really look at what those lessons are? And then as we do that, I want you to really look at what is a specific skill or quality that you would like to develop further for this next phase, right? And I know a lot of you guys are in the Find Your Voice Challenge, and that's going to really, really help you with the dares to dig into and get a little bit deeper into your thoughts and your feelings. And sometimes we actually find out that there's things that are in there that we had no idea, right? And sometimes it can feel uncomfortable. But man, oh man, when you can look at it with courage and optimism and utilize all of these things that are coming up. And if they're coming up, it's because we need to pay attention to them. And it would benefit us to do so, right? So especially like if you're like me, many, many times it's like when I was dating a lot, I would date different people, but they were really the same person. They just had different names that might have looked a little bit different, but were their qualities the same? Yes. And it's like I finally got to the place, well, the common denominator here is me. What is it that I'm saying? What is it that I'm doing? How am I showing up that these are the people that I attract? So that's part of my personal growth experience from past challenges, right? I really started digging into who am I? What do I really want? And how can I be a magnet to that instead of the magnet for the people that are challenging me in a different way? And so I really started diving into so much of this work because I know the only constant is change. And if I'm not doing something different, change ain't going to happen how I want it to. It's just going to keep perpetrating the old patterns, right? And I, for one, wanted new patterns, new ways of showing up. So I'm going to go ahead and close out for today. And thank you, Lynn, for being here and participating. So before I stop, I'm going to go back. And our affirmation for today, remember, put it on your sticky note, your screensaver, your index cards, your the mirror with a chalk marker, wherever you want to. And the main thing to put down is I embrace change with courage and optimism. Right? Exclamation mark. That's me. I embrace change with courage and optimism. And then if you want to add the other part, each new experience shapes me into a stronger, wiser version of me. right? And then our journal prompt. And remember, put the date, use your notebook, your journal, put the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt together. And the journal prompt: what personal growth have you experienced from past challenges, and how do those lessons empower you in future endeavors? And then I'll add the other part in when I put it into the description. But the other part is reflect on a specific skill or quality you'd like to develop further in this next phase of life. Because, like I said, we're constantly changing. And so what we're doing today, tomorrow, that's our new normal. Let's pick out what we want that new normal to be, right? You get to decide. And to me, that feels delicious to know that I get to decide. And of course, there's been many times I thought, oh, hell, that meant that was my fault. I attracted it. But there's power with that. If I can attract it, I can also attract something different. And that's what I want for you, right? All right. So spend some time and just brain dump everything that shows up. Don't judge it, just do it. And just see what epiphanies show up for you. So hold on a second. Let's see, what does this say? Thank you, Vicki. I appreciate you. I'm at my mom's today recovering a bad UTI that had me passed out. Oh, bless your heart. Thank God I have my mama still with me. Yes, yes. And thank God she's close enough that she can help you with that. Beautiful. And, I used to have a friend that when she had a UTI, she was actually hallucinating. It got so bad. She was hallucinating and seeing all kinds of things. It was the craziest thing that you wouldn't think a UTI would create that, but it did. So I feel you, and thank God you've got your mama, and she can help you. And I hope you have such an amazingly speedy recovery. All right. And I also, Wendy's not here to give me an idea. So let's see. I have an amazing, optimistic day. I don't know, whatever. You're welcome, Lynn. Thank you for being here, and feel better, feel better. And if you're watching the replay, put #replay and share in, how things are going for you and what you feel when I say these affirmations and journal prompts. I'd really like to know. And if you're watching from another platform, then make sure that you let me know. And if you want to be part of the Stand Up and Stand Out community, all you have to do is go to vickypoole.com, VICKIEPOOLE.com, and you'll be prompted to answer some questions to join the group. And it is an amazing group and growing and getting better all the time. Thank you, Lynn. And you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the Stand Up and Stand Out community tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Mwah.